G'day, welcome to a tutorial on how to set up your BoostLabs Underglow kit. Today we're going to be going through the wiring setup and testing, and then we'll be following up with an install on a vehicle at a later date. To get started, all you need is a test battery, your phone, and the kit itself. To get started, you're going to need to unbox your kit, so you should have rears, fronts, and your sides. You'll have some 3M tabs, zip ties, as well as some screws as well, and some silicone tabs. To make sure everything is in the kit, you're going to need the wiring harness. You're going to need one of these connectors with the split cables, and you're going to need 4 connectors. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And your Y splitter. That should be the whole kit laid out, as well as the controller. The controller will include a couple of things that you'll need to get started. So depending on the model of controller, it'll come with the manual, a screwdriver, the actual control box, and then a little remote. You won't need the manual today. So we'll need the screwdriver and the control. We can also put these to the side for the time being. We'll start with the battery harness. On your controller, I have a picture here to make it a little bit easier for you. You'll have the outside and the in. So the inside will have triggers as well as ground and power, which is VCC, GND, and then the triggers. Some controllers will just have input for power and ground. On the outside, you'll have data 1 through 4 for this one, and then power and ground. And they'll be marked accordingly as well, ground, VCC, and DAT 1 through 4. Again, some will only have data 1, 2, 3. This particular controller here, for the Essentials kit, will have these outputs. Now, I did say Essentials kit, but here I do have a full 6-piece kit, so that is our standard offering. To get started with the battery harness, we'll just spread it out here a little bit and find what we need. So if we follow down the relay, we'll have our battery harness terminals. We'll need these shortly. And if we keep following it, we're going to follow it to a switch and a red and black wire. So the red is your VCC, the black is your ground. And all I'm going to do here on the controller is loosen these 2 terminals. I'm going to go ahead and put power into VCC, make sure that's nice and snug, and secure it down. The ends of these wire tips have a little bit of solder on them. Make sure that has nice contact inside there. So once it's slotted in, and screw that down. You shouldn't pull very hard, but you should give it a little tug to make sure everything is installed accordingly. Pop that down for the time being. We're going to want to grab our cable with the split ends, and this is going to go into our other side. So I'm going to go ahead and loosen the VCC, the ground, and for this one I'll be using data 1. And I'm going to go ahead and follow the same steps. So I'm going to have my VCC at the very top for this controller. So it's going to go in. Screw that in place. Same for the next one in the sequence. So the yellow wire or the orange wire for these kits will be your data. So that'll plug into data. And for these kits, as well as most of your wiring, black will be your ground and red will be your VCC or power. These are a 12-volt system. Now that I've wired that, I'm going to do the same. I'm going to give it a little tug, nothing too hard to rip anything out, but it is secure. There's the start of our harness, and from here you're not really going to need too many more tools because they are a plug and play system. So you're going to lead this into your engine bay, down to your front bumper, where you'll install the Y splitter. And the Y splitter will take the left and right. There is no wrong way to install this, as all the strips do plug and play together. So as long as you're not forcing anything and breaking it, they'll line up and connect smoothly. And our strips are actually marked with lines. For this testing, I'm not going to use these. It is best to see if they work. I know these work on my kit, so when you're doing this at home, make sure you connect these at every stage. So you'll just start with the LEDs first. We have our front ones to begin with. This can get very messy very quickly, so make sure you have a nice work area to test everything. And again, if you have a look at the LEDs, they have arrow indications, so it's telling me this is going forward, which means I'm going to have to plug in here to follow the chain. I'm going to go ahead and connect this one here. And there is a little tab for the pins that should align it nicely. I'll have a picture of that on the screen. And you want to make sure it slots in there. The easiest way is pretty much to align it and give it a little spin, and you'll find a section where it wants to lock in. At this point, you'd add a connector to each of these to make sure everything is working, because this will go in your wheel wells. Again, like I said, for this test and to keep my table a little bit neater, I'm going to go ahead and skip these, but at home, definitely test these. These aren't too prone to breaking, but it's always nice to know everything works before you get under the car and start sticking stuff down. So there's our fronts. I'm going to curl them like that. Next, we want our sides. Again, it's going to be fairly messy, but we're going to try keep it in the one bundle here. I'm going to refer to the strips again. So these arrows are facing this way, which means the starter mine are going to be where I started unraveling here at the bottom. Following the same steps as last time. Get these connected. I'm going to follow through with the rear as well. Now the rears, you really can't install it the wrong way since they do terminate at the end. They just have a little silicone cap, and you're going to meet these with your other strip. They're nice and secure, and when you're installing, these do have a little cap, so you screw that down to make sure it's a nice connection. It also helps some of the water sealing. There is an O-ring that it compresses to give it the true water sealing. I'm going to go ahead and tidy up my table here, so all my rubbish is here to the right. I'm going to go ahead and move everything slightly to the left, so I have my start, I have my middle, and I have my end strips, and I've got my battery harness here. So like I said, you're going to follow off the relay down to the terminals here. We have our switch, the connector, and its wired sequence. So red to red, black to black. I'm going to give that tension so it doesn't pop off. I'm going to go ahead and flick my switch. So we have red on standby, and we're on. So this one is set to a voice sequence, as you can see. On your phone, you'll have an app to download called Banlian X. Let's switch this off so I can show you. So basically, you're going to go into here, download it, go add devices, then switch your system on. And here we are connected. So I'm going to go all sources. I'm just going to set it to probably 1. And I'm going to go ahead and lower this brightness just barely for the video. Now that I know all my strips are working, just do a visual inspection. Make sure everything is snug, make sure everything looks nice, there's no visual artifacting. All the strips have their 3M tabs on them, or their 3M backing rather. I can see everything looks nice. The effect goes to its full length. So I can go ahead and have a look at some of the settings, set it to some of the color modes that you like. Working awesome. So I'm going to go in here and just turn it off. That is our setup. So if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. We're going to go through and set this up on a vehicle at some point, and we'll show you how to actually install these, how to maintain them, and if you have any issues, how to actually troubleshoot these. Thank you very much.